Hey, but let's says, okay, so stick through to the end. From about midway to the end, I'm going to give you two different distinct styles and how they can affect your relationships. But in the beginning, some of the things you might be doing that are hurting your relationship.
So let's talk about this. Well, that was fun. Hi, my name is Michelle Pava. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. If you're single, you might be flirting wrong. You might be attracting the wrong people. Flirting is a very evolutionary thing. It's also called peacocking. It's a way for us to attract a mate that will be helpful, protect us, provide security, and give us passion and offspring, evolutionary speaking. But for a lot of us, we just want someone nice to hang out with. So a friendship with a lot of passion. But how you flirt is going to dictate some of the people that are attracted to you and the quality of the relationships that you foster. Now, I'm very big on women having the healthiest relationships possible, but depending on what your needs are in the moment, you might just want a really light, quick relationship. Now, I've known women in my life who have flirted with men, who have met men online or in person, have flirted with them, and then they've been very upset by the quality of those relationships because those men either are cheating a lot, very narcissistic, or they're just not taking these women seriously for whatever reason. And these are really high quality, amazing women that I'm talking about. And these men are treating them like they are bottom of the barrel, when really it's the men that they've been attracting that are bottom of the barrel. And I want to just put out there that there's a lot of really great men out there. So if you're watching this right now, you might already feel like there's not wonderful men. There's a ton of amazing men out there. Why shouldn't you be attracting those men? Why are you attracting these men? They're amazing, competent, handsome, beautiful inside and out men out there. But maybe you're attracting Jethro in the wilderness, and Jethro in the wilderness is not going to treat you well. And you're investing a lot of time and energy in Jethro. So let's talk about this. Many women, especially if they've had any kind of abuse or any kind of loss or neglect in their life, even betrayal in their early relationships, tend to go overboard. So what I've observed is that women who are feeling the least sensual, the least attractive, they feel like they have gained too much weight, or they're just not attractive in some way, or they have poor body image, or they have just overall bad self-image, tend to behave overly sexual. So if this is hitting a chord, this could be you. If you meet someone and you're mistaking being direct with being blatant, that's going to harm your image. You're not going to be taken as seriously. If you're flaunting your feminine energy, if you're focusing so much on how beautiful you are, or how sexy you are, or how wild and fun you are, you're giving the wrong impression. And here's what you don't understand if you're feeling that way. Every single woman, no matter how conservative she looks on the outside, has that ability to be wild and sensual. And the men that are with them know that. You don't have to broadcast it. You don't have to market yourself like a blow-up doll. And that's what I've observed many women doing, and then they get upset when they're treated like that. So if you're marketing yourself that way, if you're presenting yourself that way, so I say if you're marketing yourself that way, because that's not really a presentation. That's really a quick shroud that you're putting on top of yourself to market yourself to that particular man. It's not even flirting, really. You feel like it's flirting, but I see it as just really blatant marketing. And that's you if you are focusing on your conversations of being sensual. And if you are having a conversation with a man and it's pretty early on in the relationship and he's immediately talking sexually to you, he's not seeing you as a person. You don't need that. And if he's doing this to you within seconds or days,
he's doing it to other women as well.
You're not some special goddess that he has found, that he has this uncontrollable focus of sensuality with you. He's doing it with everyone. He treats all women in a demeaning, horrible way. He's nothing to write home about. So let's get rid of Jethro in the wilderness. So if you want to get rid of all the Jethros in the wilderness, you need to stop focusing on your sensuality and what you can offer him sexually. Just drop all of that. And if in the flirting phase, or in the we should maybe think about having a relationship phase, if he immediately starts out with,
well, I like my free time and I like to go out once in a while,
don't start saying how you're gonna be okay with that, because he's telling you right off the bat that he's gonna be cheating. I'm not kidding. That's the way it goes, because a normal man doesn't have to do that, because normal sane people know that they need boundaries, and that normal sane people sometimes go out with their friends. They don't need to broadcast it. So get rid of all of the low IQ Jethros. throw them back out into the wilderness. Now that we got rid of all of those guys, let's just focus on ways that you can flirt that you will really attract a quality man. Now you can be direct or you can be indirect. Some men are intimidated by someone who's more direct, and that's okay, because if you want to weed those guys out, just be more direct. But understand that evolutionary speaking, men like to chase the woman. Men like to be the chasers. Men like to feel alpha. Evolutionary speaking, he's going to feel better and you're going to feel better if you are a little bit more indirect and you just sort of give him the green light and let him be the one to be more direct. It doesn't mean you're playing a game, and it doesn't mean you're pushing aside your personality. It just means that you're allowing yourself to be treated like a female energy. So if you see someone that you're very attracted to, strike up a conversation with them, get to know them as a friend, which is actually the best way to have a relationship with anyone. Let him be more direct. Statistically speaking, when the female is more indirect but giving more of that green light and the male is able to be more direct with the flirting, that relationship can be built more on friendship, on an obvious mutual attraction. There's lots of passion, and that usually is a longer term relationship, often lifelong. However, when the female is more direct, it can be a more passionate, shorter term relationship. So you will have that heavy passion, but you're more apt to attract men who are a little bit lazy emotionally because you've already initially taken the upper hand, so you don't know what he's bringing to the table. And often, he's not bringing much. So in 6 months or a year or in a couple of years even, you might be sitting around going, I can't believe I'm with this emotionally void man. But guess what? You knew it from day one because you were the one that had to be direct. So it's important that if you're going to flirt, know what your goals are. Let it be natural, but here's the problem with just letting it be natural. A lot of our natural behaviors are built on our experiences from the past, and if you had some toxic experiences from the past, your behaviors are going to reflect that. So you have to kind of relearn what you want and how you're going to get it. And long term, you have to think about if you want something that is more long term, more based on friendship with passion that grows over time, that's more healthy, you have to interact more in a way that is more indirect, more classy, more chic, and you're going to attract someone who is going to be more direct, but not overbearing, not overly sexual, not narcissistic, and you're going to allow that to flourish. So the 3 different flirting styles are direct, which is going to get you more of, usually statistically, the more emotionally unavailable man, or what you might even say is more of a wimp. And women sometimes don't like the more wimp guy, and being more direct is going to get you more of that guy. And by being more direct, you are opening yourself up to more of that guy, more of the emotionally distant guy, more of the person who might be even narcissistic, more of a malignant person. If you're more indirect and you allow him to be more direct and you really take it slow, coming from a place of friendship with a little passion and a little excitement under the current, then you're going to have more of a longer term relationship. Usually it's going to be built on friendship, and there's going to be passion and mystery and all of that excitement. You're not going to have to sacrifice that, but it's going to be something that's a more mature relationship, which is always going to be more satisfying. Or you can go the more blatant route, which is probably going to get you in bed within 24 hours. And even if you're using the other person, it's going to be emotionally empty. And traditionally, the more you do something, the more normal it becomes and the lower your standards are. And your standards go to that level. So the more that you focus on the blatant flirting and the behaviors and situations that come with that, that becomes more your norm. And it's going to be very hard for you to break out of that. And you're going to struggle more with the men who are used to the different types of relationships and the different types of flirting and the different types of behaviors, because you're not going to fit into that. So
take it slow.
So this is all just generalization. And of course, you might blatantly flirt with someone and end up having a great relationship with them lifelong. So none of these are perfect, but these are just guidelines. So I'm not saying that if you're flirting more blatant, that relationship is doomed. And I'm not saying that if you're indirect, it's not going to end up being a narcissist or somebody horrible. But in general, your behaviors do dictate the responses that you get from other people. Your behaviors, which include flirting, are going to attract certain types of people, and they're going to create certain types of situations. So as long as you're aware of that as a general rule of thumb, then we're good. Now, if you're already in a long-term relationship, it's really a good idea to flirt because it's still that evolutionary space of where you're letting the other person know that they're attractive. That can even be just kidding around with the other person. Well, that was fun. Check below. I have some freebies for you, and there's another video.